I believe our special guests have arrived. So let me just double check. One moment here, guys. Are you ready? I believe they are here, so I'd like you to give a big round of applause to our Sailor Moon voice actors. We have, come on up stage, everybody. Linda Ballantyne. We've got Katie Griffin. We have Susan Roman.
Hello. Jupiter Thunder Crash.
And we have Toby Proctor. Welcome, all of you. We're so excited. We're excited to see you.
We're very excited to be here.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Hi. I saw Toby and Susan yesterday, and I get to see you guys today, so this is a welcome to the convention, of course. Oh, awesome. Here we go. We got some nameplates for you guys as well. So you got to make it look professional, of course. So we have, of course, Sailor Moon, Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Mars, and Tuxedo Mask. So let's give them a big round of applause. Yeah, what you guys do? Just a quick little attack power or something?
Just right off the top.
Right off the
Just
top.
like that.
Serena, the people came here to see you.
Stop it! I can't believe you're saying that to me. You're just trying to be crazy. Oh, you guys just always I'm gonna make this talk.
You have to believe in yourself soon.
I love that. That's awesome. As a fan, to me, this is everything. So, welcome. I'm so happy to have you guys here and part of Anirevo. I know this is your first time at an Anirevo event, and we worked together at Fan Expo in Vancouver. Yourself and Susan were there. And Susan, Katie, you were at the very first Anirevo in 2012 in Vancouver. And Toby, you came to Anirevo
2018, was it?
I believe it was actually 2022.
Was it?
And then 2023 Animé Toronto.
Oh.
And now...
I don't know where it was.
No, it's all good, it's all good. But yeah, so this is amazing, as I said, I'm myself. I'm so happy to have you guys here. So thank you for coming out.
Thanks. And then look at you guys all here right on time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Except for my kids. That's why I had to go, because my kids are on the TTC right now because we live in Toronto. And I'm like, yeah, you have to get there by 11:30. Yeah, Mom, we'll be there. And they're not. So I'm waiting for them, so I'm going to make a big thing.
You think that they would actually go to your panel?
They said they were coming to the panel, Linda.
Alright.
They said they were coming.
So how was the retrospective? Was it cool?
Yeah.
We're going over some of the other stuff too, like the musicals, the live action series, some fan-made things too.
Nice.
There's a radio play that came out a long time ago that's
wow.
bizarre. It's really bizarre.
I find that so hard to believe.
Yeah. But I have a really quick 1-minute video just to showcase some of your stuff here as well too. So here we go.
Take this stick and do what I say. Now say, Jupiter power. Jupiter power!
You used your drum to terrorize innocent people, and that cannot be tolerated. You use your drum for evil, and that must now be stopped by me. I'm going to make you dance to my beat, lady, instead of drumming to the beat of evil.
So do any of you remember drumming those scenes, or voicing those scenes?
You know, it all kind of gets melded together because it was pretty fast and furious and like frantic when we were doing it. So some of the ones I definitely remember. I don't remember that. Well, I mean, that said, how many times did I?
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yes, I do. Do you?
Do you remember that particular episode?
Yeah.
The clip? Actually, yeah, I do.
Do you?
Because I
when did you learn to talk? That was my favorite line. we didn't get a lot, there wasn't a lot of comedy. Well, no, yeah, Serena had a lot of comedy, and when the two of these guys were having a go at one another, that was funny, but that wasn't really part of the script.
And not to mention, that was probably the first time you knew Luna could talk, because we didn't get the scripts ahead of time. So
That's
I had no
right.
idea what was happening. So as Susan was recording, she's like, oh, the cat's talking. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
method acting.
Linda was pretty bossy, eh? Like, do as I say. Say 2 minute power. Awesome. I actually got to meet Jill, actually she was here with Toby at Animé-d Toronto a couple of years ago, and so it was so much fun. She's got so much energy too.
Yes.
Everybody has so much energy in
Yeah.
that too. But I mean, as a voice actor, you have to, right? You got to emote and be able to pull from that.
Listen, Jill, Luna, went on, we went to a con together somewhere, who knows where, and we were at the airport. And she can charm the socks off anyone. Anyone at all. She's just so, oh my, oh. And everybody's just like, oh, you're so lovely, oh. They upgraded her first class. Do you remember we were on the plane and they were like,
Yeah.
one person can go,
Yeah.
she can go, and we're like,
I love that.
Have fun, Jill.
yeah.
We'll wave to you, Jill.
That's hilarious. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the other roles you guys have had as well, too, just so that people can get to know you. Now, Linda, I didn't know this until recently, that you were the voice of the Comedy Network.
Yes,
Yeah.
13 years. I was the one saying, the following program may be offensive to some viewers, and do some little joke thing in there about that. Yeah. Only on the Comedy Network.
And I think about back to it and watching it, like I used to watch Drawn Together and like South Park and some of the other stuff on there, and I remember those commercials, and I'm like putting 2 and 2 together, and I hear your voice doing that too, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like, and you know, same with Katie being on Are You Afraid of the Dark as well too, as Dee.
I was the prom queen, that prom queen episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah.
I didn't know that either until
Yeah.
recently, so.
Fun fact.
Oh, what was the gum commercial you did? Spectre one about.
Yeah, so Wrigley, there was a gum
Yeah.
commercial. I was like in Russia or somewhere. It was actually gibberish, and I was going across the border, and then he tries to confiscate the gum, and it's juicy fruit, and then I say Spectre one about, and anyway, it was a thing.
And it was like a freeze frame.
Everybody's too young.
Wasn't it like a freeze frame thing? You're like,
Damn it, Toby, you're aging us.
yeah. It was so good.
It was fun, yeah. It was good, yeah.
And what did you say?
It's like,
Spectre one about, it's not an actual word. It's
is it not? Because I've quoted that for my whole life thinking I'm speaking Russian.
In like a Russian, and I'm like, I don't know that, but that's my gum, and he's trying to confiscate it, and then he gives it back to me, and as I'm walking away, I go, Spectre one about, and he's like, she speaks, but it was gibberish, it wasn't whatever it was.
That's awesome.
Nobody knows, everybody's like, oh, that's nice. Do you remember that? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you!
But did you buy the gum?
You know what other commercial you would remember too, because it's been on a lot, and I think it's even on right now. Do you know the commercial for Jane, where the guy has got a towel and he's going this, and then you hear the woman's voice, his wife's voice going,
Honey, isn't that the dog's towel?
Oh, yeah. We're learning new stuff.
And fun fact, I'm actually the dog.
No, but someone that did have a role of a dog in a fairly famous animated series back in the day, Tintin, we have Snowy the dog.
Yeah, Tintin.
And you were in heavy metal as well, too.
Yes, I was in heavy metal. I played the girl in the Harry Canyon sequence, frequently unclothed. Don't tell your mom and dad. And that's a kind of a cult situation. Great.
But South Park did a parody kind of it, so I think it's kind of resurfaced where people would look up what that parody was and like see, oh, this is based on heavy metal. And stuff.
Randy, a parody like South Park, you made it.
Yeah.
Seriously, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow, I'll have to look it up. But it's the kind of thing that there's just a tiny little funny story attached to that. This was made, it's one of the first animated motion pictures, is what they called it back in the day, for adults. I just called it a cartoon for grown-ups. except it had very adult themes. And so in those days, they didn't send animation out to be animated. It was animated in-house, and this was a company called Nelvana. And so all the animators were there, literally just drawings, cell after cell after cell by hand. Nothing was computer generated. It was their artistry was very, very much a part of the film, and there was a lot of repetition. And they would animate the picture according to the sound of your voice. So if your voice, there was one of my favorite lines was, "Can I sleep with you, Harry?" So yeah, I know, very not Sailor Jupiter-esque. And he said, what I would do is if I heard a little bit of a rasp in your voice, I would make her eyebrow go up, or I would swish the hair back at the exact time that your voice cracked. So it was a collaboration. So I met this animator at the wrap party, and I have never felt so close to somebody else who was part of the animation that we were producing, who wasn't an actor. So it was
That's very cool.
things were very, very different back in the day.
You know, it's interesting too because my daughter was here this summer, and she went to see an older movie, David Cronenberg's Rabbit, I believe it's called, and she's like, "Mom, Susan Roman is in this. What the heck?" And Guillermo del Toro was at that screening, and he got up and said, "This is the finest, this is the best horror movie that Canada has ever produced, ever."
Really?
So Guillermo del Toro is a fan of singing.
Nice.
Sure.
I just got shivers from that.
I know, cool.
That's awesome. And Toby, you were Flash Gordon.
I was Flash Gordon, and what's funny is I got Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was my first actual voiceover role, lead in anything. But a week after I got Sailor Moon, I got called in I had auditioned many rounds for Flash Gordon at the time. I think it was Hearst Animation. And it went to somebody else, and I was like, so close, 4 calls, whatever. And then about a week later, I guess they had recorded 1 or 2 episodes with whoever it was. And they decided that they needed to part ways, and they kind of revisited me. And so in 1 week, I got Tuxedo Mask, and then I was given Flash Gordon at the same time. And so I went from never doing any animation at all, and I was a terrible reader. And so, because it was like, be careful what you wish for, right? Like, I got the job, it was so cool, and I'm like, oh my God, I read for my living. Because before, like with on-camera stuff, I have time to memorize, and I have a photographic memory, so I would look at the page as an image, rather than just text. Like, I know there's a paragraph, there's 1 line and a paragraph per word, and that's how I remember my lines, just because of how I look at a page. So if I'm not remembering something, I can go back on my mental note and go, oh, that's that 3-line paragraph, and that's what that is. But cold reading is completely different because it is eye-mouth coordination, which I did not have. And so I went from seriously going from nothing to 0 to 60. So I would go in the mornings to McClear Pathé to record Sailor Moon, like Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever it was. And then the same day, I'd walk across the street to Studio 306 and do Flash Gordon at the same time.
Wow.
And it was, lightning struck. Like that will never happen. Certainly not like that again. But it was a really, it was a fun show. Everybody's like, wow, Flash Gordon's gonna be huge. What's the Sailor Moon thing? Like, no. And then now people are like, Flash Gordon, what? And now like, Sailor Moon, yay! And so you just never know. So yeah, funny.
Awesome.
Unpredictable.
You're very unpredictable for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2 of you share the same role in Care Bears, but in different iterations.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
different iterations. So Champ Bear.
Yeah, Susan was the original Champ Bear in the cartoons, and I was in the movies.
Yeah.
And what was the film called again?
Well, there's a few of them, but one of them was Journey to
Journey to
Joe.
Journey to
Oh,
Joe Lot Bear.
And were you in Care Bears as well,
Yeah.
Toby? Or?
Oh, no, not
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no, not Joe. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Whatever,
Yeah.
Care Bears.
So that was a little bit, I remember, I'm just remembering that. So there I've done Champ Bear, okay, sports fans, for like a million years in the series. And then the series stopped, and then they decided to do this film, and they said, so you're not going to be reading Champ? I said, really? Why? Well, somebody else is doing it, but they didn't tell me who. And, so then God, what was the one, the Care Bear that I did in the film? I forget. But she didn't have as many lines, so it wasn't so much fun.
But do you know what I remember from that? Is that was one of those, we recorded all together, an ensemble they call it. And the thing is, you have a bunch of voice actors who you work with all the time, but you don't really know, and they're Care Bears. For me, it was easy, because I was laugh bear and giggle. That's all I did. But everybody was trying to find their voices.
And there was like 8 of us.
Yeah,
8
and
of us.
listening
so
to each
4
other.
here,
Julie
4
Laverne was
here.
in there.
And everybody's got these little tiny voices, these little kid voices. And as they're doing their lines and you're waiting for yours, you're going, I don't even know what I sound like anymore. I have no idea what I'm doing. I remember just sitting there like, okay, get husky. And then somebody else would be like, hey. I'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, Susan could have done, oh, Linda, I'll tell you how it
Yeah,
sounds.
awesome.
That's funny.
Where did they record that?
That was at Studio 306.
It was at 306, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that Linda got to play Champ. If anybody was, I'm okay with anybody getting my part, it would be Linda.
Well, in truth, here's the facts. Facts. They had all the different sides out, and I was like, and I went, they said, you're going up for this part. I can't even remember what it was, and I went, can I read for Champ? Can I read for Champ, please?
Did you even know it was Susan at the time?
I must have, like, I'm sure that I heard you. I'm sure that I heard you in the real thing, right? I'm like, oh, I like that voice.
You know, there could have been, and this is a situation, Susan is Susan. So she probably had like 5 other shows, and she was too busy. You probably were too busy.
It's true. Facts.
I don't know, but
I was polishing luggage. I was doing nothing.
Is that what you call it
No,
nowadays? Is that what you call it nowadays?
And Susan, you were Good Luck Bear.
thank you. Good luck, Bear. I knew that. I was just testing.
I have my other notes. Just in case it was
Green,
Good
right? It's the whole green thing.
The green, the shamrock.
Funny story, I'll try to be like fast about it, but I was pregnant and I went to a Dave & Buster's with my sister who's upstairs being a volunteer with us today. Anyway, so, you know, you get prizes at Dave & Buster's, and I was so excited, and I went, I'm like, okay, let's get prizes. Because everybody's having fun, I was kind of pregnant, I was like, I want to go home anyway, but let's get our prizes. And there was a bin, and it was all these orange Laugh-A-Lot bears. And I'm like, oh my God, Becky, it's Laugh-A-Lot Bear! And Becky just stood there and didn't even miss a beat, and she said, that's because they took all the other, I'm like, just shut up, Becky. But I really think she wasn't trying to be mean, she was just like, yeah, I know, that's because they were all picking the Champ Bears or whatever.
You got a lot of kids.
By the way, that's a really good Becky impersonation.
Thank you, I can do Becky, yeah.
So let's kind of bounce back to Sailor Moon for a moment and talk about the casting situation a little bit, because Susan, you were there pretty much the entire run, from the very first episode to the last one that Deep Cloverway kind of did.
That's why I couldn't do Champ.
Katie, you were the second longest on the panel here, because you were there for 13 episodes. Emily Barlow came in, I believe,
Yeah.
and then when they dubbed for Cloverway, she took over Venus, right? So you came, left,
I
came
went
back.
to Los Angeles for a bit, and they couldn't wait for me, and they couldn't do a phone patch and everything, and quite honestly, when you're dubbing, the money's just not good enough to keep you in Toronto to do that when you're doing other things. And so yeah, so that's what happened. And then when I came back, they were like, oh, do you want to be Sailor Mars again? Yes, I do. And then, yeah, Emily was Sailor Venus.
It's funny, I went to high school with her.
With Emily?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was a few grades below me, but
She's
yes.
also an amazing singer.
Just, there's something, you're both singers
Oh,
too.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emily's an incredible.
But she's an amazing singer. So if you can check out Emily Claire Barlow, I think she's got a Christmas CD that I listen to. It's amazing. You should check it out. Yeah, oh, she's
Speaking of CDs, Katie,
Oh, yeah.
Katie has her CDs here.
Because, Jeremy, I can't even believe it. And when I found them, I'm like, oh, it's okay. Somebody asked for my CD.
So I have a radio show in Kamloops that's been going on for 20 years. It's called Animé-d in Japan, Insanity on the Radio. It's Japanese music. And I knew that you had had this CD out for a while, and you have to put Canadian content and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that would be so awesome to be able to get that. So we'll do some of my Canadian content.
Yeah,
And
amazing.
do you guys do it? I don't know about the rest of you. Do you have any CDs?
I can't even spell CD.
Okay. I just did.
You're a great singer. Yeah, actually, Linda's a good singer, too.
I do.
Oh, my kids are there.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. I'm from Calgary.
They live with them, and then I've got another daughter who lives in Japan.
Ooh,
Tokyo.
nice. Very nice.
She's gonna come home and live with me soon.
Now, Toby, you came in as a recast of Tuxedo Mask. We had Reno Romano, and then yourself, and then Vincent Carrazza.
Yep.
And then in the Biz Duck, it was Robbie Damon.
Yep.
And then for Sailor Moon, we had Tracy to Terry to yourself to Stephanie. So some of you came in as recast, some of you were recasted and came back, and then Susan, you were there the entire run of the original one. How did it feel coming in, taking over from somebody else? And like, did you ever feel a pressure in that, or were you kind of just happy to come in and do your own thing and put your own spin on it?
Well, you know, the thing was, when I went and auditioned for this, because it was my first one out of the gate, I didn't even know Sailor Moon when I was auditioning for it. I went to McClear Path A, they said, we want you to read for something, and I didn't realize it was Tracy Moore, who I had known since I was a little kid. My mom and dad were in the business as well. But I knew her as like a friend adjacent kind of thing, and then I was taking a microphone technique course from Tracy at Nelvana at the time, and I didn't know she had anything to do with Sailor Moon, and I didn't even know what Sailor Moon was. Walked in and they said, like a normal audition, you sign in, and you're like, hey, I'm here for my 10-10 or whatever. Like, yeah, okay. I said, is there any images to look at? And I said, no, there's nothing. Just you'll be okay. They'll have you in the room. So they got me in the room, put the headphones on me, and said, okay, what we want you to do is we just want you to listen to this voice. We're not looking for a voice match, but the energy. We're looking for the same kind of cadence, but don't, whatever. Because I'm like, I don't know if I sound like this person. So that's okay. So they did it, and they had me say something, and I said, just kind of repeat it back, and I did. And I did this little paragraph, and that was it. So it was so fast, and I was like, well, that was kind of weird. And because I had never really done voice acting, except for these little voice classes with Tracy Moore, I didn't realize Tracy was casting at the time. That I was doing these.
She was casting?
She was directing Sailor Moon, but they were technically casting. But I didn't know this, so as I was doing these voice classes, she would whisper in my ear, she goes, if you worked on your reading a bit, you can do this. I'm like, well, we'll see. And I was young, so I'm like, yeah, whatever. She goes, no, seriously, get your paper delivered to your house, read it aloud, and blah, blah, blah. So I was kind of doing it, I'm like, okay, got a Toronto Star, and reading, whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting stuff. And, but next thing I know, it turns out that she was, the whole time I was working with her in this voice class, she is kind of eyeing my possible participation in the series.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
And so that's a word to the wise. If you're ever taking a voice class, like doing it with somebody who actually works in the industry is really wise.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very wise, because they will hear you. If they like you, they'll bring you in for sure.
Well, and the misnomer with, like, you remember back in the day, demo tapes, it was a big thing, you have to have demos and demos. I actually never did, I probably should have at some point, but I also worked in casting. The thing about demo tapes is the people who are really there to make the decisions, if they're not in the room working, they don't want to be in a room listening to tapes, really. They're not going to be going through that gigantic box of tapes that's been sitting there forever. So I really do feel like I had an advantage of having kind of live audition, my live demo was going to that class, like Linda said. Like, you really never know who's there, and also to be very, very aware that where people are on the day that you meet them may not be where they end up. So be nice and be, like, because you never know where those people are going,
This is a good segue. There are 2 spots. I'm actually doing an animation workshop in Toronto, and there are 2 spots left, and it's next Thursday. So if anybody's interested in voice acting, especially for animation or anime or anything, come by our tables, because I did a little QR code. I was really technical, and you can scan it and get some information, or just
She
chat
was
with me.
so proud of that.
I am so proud of it. I am so not a technical person.
Please, for her.
I asked my kids, who, by the way, I'm still checking, still not here. I asked them to help me. Jet's at university, so he gets a bit of a pass. But Wyatt is 15, and he's so good at that. And he's like, yeah, I'll help you. But then I did it all on my own self.
And she's also mastered the escalator. That is another thing
Thank
she's
you.
good at.
Yes,
Right on. Right
Nailed
on.
that escalator. That sounded weird.
But Linda's got a good story about taking over from another actress.
Which one?
The gym story. Going home and gym saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sailor Moon, you mean? Yeah, when I took over, it was an interesting time for sure. Because I mean, Terry was the voice of Sailor Moon, right? She was very, very established. And so I went to this audition, and I really didn't know the show at all, hardly. Like, I had seen my nieces were watching, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a weird show. Why is her head blowing up? Why are her eyes the size of pinpricks right now? They were like, shut up, Linda, shut up. So when I went into audition, I did my audition and everything, and then I get a call. And you know, there was a bunch of different parts that they were auditioning for, like Sailor Mars, all that kind of stuff. And so my agent phoned me and said, hey, so you got Sailor Moon? And I was like, no way, what part? And they said, Sailor Moon. And I was like, I'm Sailor Moon? And she's like, yeah, congratulations. And I'm like, holy shit. So I walked down the stairs, my husband was down in the basement with his buddy Tony, and I'm like, I sat on the stairs, I remember this so clearly, in the middle of the stairs, I just sort of sat down and went, I got Sailor Moon. And my husband said, no way, what part? And I said, Sailor Moon, I'm Sailor Moon. And my buddy Tony, his buddy Tony said, oh no way. Well, you better be good because my kids watch. And then the penny dropped right there and then, and I went, oh shit. What have I done? This is an iconic character already, and what am I going to do? I can't do this. And of course, I had the imposter syndrome, and of course, went through hell when it first started because it just kept wanting me to get higher and higher and higher and more shrill and screaming, and I hated it so much. I hated it. I would go in there every day going, God damn, I was like, all the time. And I was like, I hate this, and my husband would say, I'd come home crying, literally crying, and just like, I can't do this, I hate this so much. All I'm doing is screaming. He goes, well, babe, you gotta make it your own. And I'm like, they don't want me, they want her. You don't understand, you don't know what you're talking about. And I go in there and do it again. Every day I come home crying. And then one day on my way to the work, I could feel everything tensing up. Everything was just like, and I'm driving along. And then I went, whoa, what are you doing? If you could start from the beginning, what would you do? And I went, and I'm literally talking to myself, going up the garden ramp that is no longer there anymore. And I'm driving along. Well, what I would do is I would look at this character and I would say, you know, a teenager is a very complicated order. On one half, they want to be adults. They think that they are so great and they want to be adults. But on the other half, they're still goofy kids. And they don't understand that you're allowed to be both. And so they kind of stumble into each part. And I was like, that's what I would want to do. And I'm like, that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to do it the way I want. I'm going to stop being as shrill. I'm going to just start doing it the way I want. And they let me. They just let me just go on. I didn't even say anything. They were just like, great, keep going, next one. I was like, really? Okay. And I got home and I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, babe, I finally figured it out. He's like, what? I finally figured out what I had to do. I just had to make it my own. He's like, good for you. Weirdo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine it must be difficult having to, you know, like you said, stepping in another person's shoes to take on a role.
And they were
like,
huge shoes.
you know, but,
Sure. Yeah.
you know, I personally, and again speaking as a fan, you guys, original voice crew, like from the Cloverway, I think that if they would have gone with the scripts that Viz Media used, that had you guys come back in the roles, that would be the perfect marriage. Because they didn't cut the stuff out that they did in the 90s. Because 90s was a different time, right? They got rid of the LGBT representation, unfortunately, and stuff, but it was, and I think I remember, Susan, you were saying at one of our other panels in the past that the voice director was wanting you guys to come off as like American slang, as opposed to like, you know, back in the 90s and stuff. And that's why you get some of those like real, like ultra cool, and just kind of like all those weird little things. And then they changed that when it came to the Viz scripts to match what's more locally, right? So, but
if I could, I would just like to make one point.
Yeah.
That you brought up that a lot of people aren't aware of. There's a lot of criticism online for the Cloverway and whatever else our production. There's Cloverway and who's the other one?
D.
Yeah. Because the script, there was a lot of what people are calling censorship in the script. Certainly, it deviated from the original in Japanese. But there was a really good reason for this. It wasn't just censorship for censorship's sake. It was because the only place it aired was on network television, not even necessarily cable television. In the US it aired on cable, but in Canada, the Cartoon Network was a cable network, but a major Domo distributor of children's programming. And there are huge, strong CRTC regulations in place. And you cannot, there are certain things that we're not allowed, and still are not allowed, to show to children. For example, if something came in from another country and it showed little kids riding around on a bicycle without a helmet, they were not allowed to air that scene. It just had to be cut. So it was the same thing with Sailor Moon. A lot of the stuff was cut, not just because they wanted, that's, not healthy, or they disapproved. It wasn't because they disapproved, it was because the CRC would take the show off the air. So, which would you rather have? No Sailor Moon at all, because they wouldn't have been allowed to air it. The way Viz eventually recorded it, Viz can air or stream their material anywhere they want. There's no rules or regulations governing them. So it's just something important that it just really bothers me when people say, the whole thing was censored. And I say, if the whole thing hadn't been, there would have been no Sailor Moon, because you couldn't have put it on the air the way it came in.
And it was censored, but people also saw what it was. How many people have we had come to us and say, this show was so important in helping make me who I am today. And it makes me want to cry every time I think about it, because it's so wonderful. Like, people did see that show and they did go, that's me.
Yeah.
Or, I love this and I'm allowed to love this.
Yeah.
So
I was talking to a guy last night, this guy Cameron. Do you remember Cameron who came by?
Yeah.
Very nice guy, and he said, listen, I just have to tell you a little story. I grew up in a very small town in Alberta, very homophobic, very white, and very scary for him, because he was he said I clearly didn't identify with that, and he said most of my life I was kind of sheltered and I had no voice, and he was scared basically, and he said when I saw Sailor Moon I saw something else that I had never been able to see, and it was kind of like a beacon for him, and it was really cool, and he started to tear up, and I'm like, can I give you a hug? And it was a very cool guy, and I just but it's just we've heard this so many times, it's ridiculous, but I'm sure everybody will have the same experience. We've had tons of people come up to us and ask us, hey, if you could, would you want to redo the whole series? Would you? Like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it was just it's such a badge of honor that we kind of get to walk around with. That's kind of what it is in a way now, because we forget, we have lives, we have families and all these things, but every once in a while there's these reminders like, wow, that's so crazy. Because it is us. It was a part of us, and it was a really special time. But that time still seems to sustain until today, which is really neat.
This series, along with several, the big three, in my opinion, the big three anime that have just lasted the test of time: Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball, and Pokemon.
Yeah.
Newer generations will say, Naruto, and every generation has their own, but Sailor Moon's been around for a long time. There's musicals, there's live action adaptations. But do you guys know that before the anime came out, before you guys were even involved with it, there was possibly going to be a completely different take on it? We were going to do a half live action, half animated version, almost like a Roger Rabbit sort of thing.
Wow. Really?
Yes.
Oh, I did not
And
know that.
recently, in the last 2 years, the full pilot episode of this was discovered in the States, in a museum. So I'll be showing that clip probably tomorrow.
Wow.
But it's a 10-minute episode. It's really, really different, very, very different. And some of the toys that came out from that, they actually did release the toys, but the series never came out of it. But the iconic logo for the English dub came from that series.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now, was Tuxedo Mask actually useful in that one?
Kind of. He threw a
Andy
lot
was
of
late. I mean, he was still fancy.
No, I always joke like he's the anime hanging there kitty poster.
Yeah.
You know?
It was interesting. Sailor Mercury was in a wheelchair. Too.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
can actually see that.
Yeah, they had different, and they animated, like when she became her Sailor Scout form, she was still in like a motorized wheelchair that would like fly and stuff, and shoot lasers. It was very different.
That's very
Did you have glasses?
I
Those are so
think she did. Oh, I'll have to look it up. Yeah. But yeah, I'm surprised nobody's ever brought that up to you guys before.
Crazy. No, I've never heard of that.
No.
There's so much.
I know the live action thing, people have told us about live action, and there's other things. And I remember, there was whispers about 7 years ago about Megan Fox possibly
Oh, yeah, I heard that
mounting.
too.
Was that true?
Even before that, what's her name? Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Melissa
okay.
Joan Hart was also supposedly going to be, and
Listen, I do Lizzo. Have you seen her transform?
Yeah.
She's a huge Sailor Moon fan. When she did it on stage, it was like, ooh, it's amazing.
let's see. There we go. So that's what Sailor Moon was. Or
It's more like She-Ra.
Yeah,
that's
that's
Mercury.
amazing.
And then we've got Mars, Jupiter,
Oh,
Venus, Tuxedo Mask. That was really nice.
Toby,
Queen Bear.
Arrow looks a lot
There you
like
go.
that.
Wow, that's so crazy.
So they're real people in like they go to a boarding school, and it's very
Like totally
nice.
spies?
Very much like that. But when they transform, they go into the animation form because then they do their battle sequences and stuff like that. But it's still the same actors that are voicing it and stuff too. So
That's so
it's
crazy. You have great research, by the way, Jeremy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
great job, Jeremy.
Every panel I'm telling you, I come away going, I don't
Yeah.
it's a fan thing. I'm one of those
Well
ones that deep dives into these things. So,
No, that's cool.
but Katie, I have a question for you.
Oh, okay, fine.
So do you remember? Again, this is the second season. Ray was organizing a music festival, and she
Yes.
did a song called "Oh Starry Night."
Yes.
Did you get to sing that?
I did not.
Mm.
And I am a singer, and it's exactly in my range. The songs were already done. And the way dubbing is, I mean, original animation, we do the voices first, and then they animate. Dubbing was way later. So they had everything in place long before I could say, oh, I can't wait to sing.
I find dubbing is way harder than prelay, like because you were matching someone else's cadence, and a lot of the times the writing was tough. You know, they'd have to omit a word, or they'd have to kind of finagle a little bit just to make it look or flow better. I was always really impressed with what everybody did because it was. And I always say it's kind of like driving standard because you're shifting gears, you're looking at the TV, you're looking at the thing, you're then the script at the same time, and trying to make that embouchure close at the same time you do.
Yeah.
And it was a fun skill to learn to do because it was certainly not something that I would think to do.
Yeah.
The main reason I was asking is because of course I had the CD from the original series and stuff, but one track that they have on there, "Only a Memory Away," which was when Sailor Mercury was leaving, is completely different from what aired on the show.
Oh, interesting.
It like you listen to it, the words are completely different from it, and the tune of it as well too. So I just thought maybe there was a chance that you got to do the episode, but they put a different singer.
You know,
in it.
it's funny. So way back in the day, so when I did record that CD with my husband, there was a moment where I said to Michael, who's my husband's pretty great with, composing and everything else, I said, we should do a remake of that song, Rock and Roll. We should do it. And there was a moment where we were thinking about it, and then life gets in the way, and I have kids that never show up to the
I know my kids just text me too, like
I feel like FaceTime, we should all FaceTime.
So you
very
didn't end up
tempted.
doing it.
So we did not end up doing we did not end up doing that, but it was talked about. But maybe someday.
you will.
Now, maybe. Hard to say.
So if you guys, oh sorry, go ahead. Susan.
So I just wanted to ask if you knew who recorded was that Jennifer Seehee that recorded?
I don't think she did Starry Night.
No, there was
I
Jennifer
think-
Seehee, there was Patricia Tollett, there was, I'm trying to think of the
I
name.
love
of
that
it.
Jeremy knows. He knows all.
I know.
If you have questions, if you see them,
I will
ask
have to-
him.
I'll look it up and
I
I'll
didn't know
see
there
it.
was. I thought she was the only singer singer on the
No,
series?
there was 4.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah, there was 4.
She's terrific, by the way. I love her.
And the music, the English music from the original series is just, it's amazing. It's so nostalgic.
So
Yeah.
beautiful.
It sounded nostalgic back in the day. It's just timeless. I think that's a better word for it. It's
Yeah,
just
timeless.
timeless.
That's good.
And like,
I just thought of something. You know what you should do?
Okay, what? Fine.
Because, Katie has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice and a very unique delivery.
Stop it.
You should record the songs from Sailor Moon yourself.
Right.
Because they're,
All of them, you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
She says not one.
No, all of them. Because as Jeremy's saying, that music, I mean, I've been to so many Comic-Cons where people are there just to see Jennifer because that music is just embedded in their psyches. Because when you're watching a show, oh, what is the one that it's in a Sailor June, Rainy Day Man?
yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
I love
that's,
that one.
you love that
I
one?
love that one and my own one. Those are my 2 favorites.
I'll tell you, if you do that, I'll do backup on kazoo for you.
So it's Jennifer Seehee, Nicole and Bryn Price do the theme song. There's Sandy Howell, Patricia Tollett, Shandy Cinnamon, and Ronald Wasserman are all on that album.
Okay, you know what I would do? Now, okay, and then I'll stop with this, but now you've got these wheels turning. I would break down the theme song acoustically and saying, you know how they do that with like Radiohead, they kind of have that genre where it's so amazing. Like, this
You
might
should
be
do
a
this,
thing.
Katie, because Christina V, the
Yeah.
new Mars, also did
Sings?
the theme song. Yeah,
She sang?
She sang. She did a rock version of Carry On, I think. But yeah, she
Okay.
sings too, so.
Interesting, I did not know that.
So all the Sailor Mars voice actors.
That makes me really want to do it now. So it's just like, oh, fun, we're just gonna do that.
It's a sing-off.
Now, if they ever localized the musicals into like an English dub, and like just with the original footage, would you guys be down to come and voice the characters?
Yes.
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 Awesome. You heard it here first, guys. And the live action series, same thing, if they were able to bring that over into English as well, too. That one deviated a lot from the original source material. Sailor Venus dies before she even gets to Queen Girl. She
Oh,
hasn't
that's
met up
funny,
with
that's
Venus.
not How is that funny? That's terrible.
What an awesome reaction.
It just seems such a random thing.
It's
I didn't
different.
expect it.
See, she is worse in real life.
And actors are portrayed both by CGI and by hand puppets. Like they literally have someone just off screen with like a hand puppet version of them too. It's bizarre. But,
That is very funny.
yeah.
Anyway, I'm not a psycho. I know no one will believe me now. What a psycho.
Now, if you could voice another character in the series, who would it be?
I would always want to be Jupiter. Well, I'm a sporty kind of person, and I feel like I like that all our characters are similar to our personalities, except for Tuxedo Mask. You see what I did there?
I would be Tuxedo Mask. Because it wouldn't be that many lines, and I could just come in at the end and sort of go,
Yes, it's true.
yes.
You know, he does have an attack in the manga, and he gets to use it in Sailor Moon Crystal as well, but they didn't do it. His tuxedo was smoking
Smoking
bomb.
bomber, yeah.
Yeah. So we actually got some
Smoking
attack.
bomber. Yes.
Smoking bomb.
Yeah, how would you have?
I was asked once, because Tuxedo Mask smoking bomber.
There you go.
Very,
Very Zoro.
very.
See,
Yeah.
I like asking that.
Please
question.
forgive me.
So, when I was working with Veronica Taylor, who took over Sailor Pluto in the Viz stuff, she's a huge Whovian for Doctor Who, so Sailor Pluto is a perfect role for her because time and stuff. But I asked her, because she was just announced as the actress, and I said, how are you going to do your attack? It's dead screen. She had no idea what I was talking about. And she's like, it's dead screen, man, okay. She's like, dead screen, we all scream for dead screen. And it's just like, you know, it's kind of, but it's interesting to see what people's initial takes on this, especially if you don't know the series, right?
Yeah.
So, but,
That's fantastic.
yeah, I love it when you guys do your attacks and stuff too, because it's fun. It brings back that, those memories and stuff. So.
Shall we do them?
Yes, please.
Who wants to start? I will. Moon Cosmic Power! 1,
blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna do my favorite one, actually. Jupiter! Thunderclap! Zap! Mars! Fire! Ignite!
And I'd say, hey, meatballheads, what are you doing here? I thought for sure you'd be over there with your friends, especially since you're acting like total fools.
There we go. That's the stuff. You know, the memories and stuff. I love it. So here's a different question for you guys. Have you ever had a moment where you wanted to see a villain have a small victory?
Always. I love, for me, as a voice actor, playing a villain is my most favorite thing on the planet because they never, ever, ever win. They always think that they're the greatest person on the entire planet, and then they lose, and they just can't believe it. So I would love to see a villain win at one point. I really would.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Yeah, villains are fun. They're super fun to play, and villains always think they're gonna win. So it would be funny because I feel like they'd be totally shocked when they actually really did, even though they're so like sure. You know, I don't know. I never get to play villains.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I've so rarely played. I can't even think of one. Isn't that funny? Like all those.
I once almost played. I was in Brace Face. If anybody ever remembers Brace Face, yeah, I was Nina Harper. So she was a villain, but she came back around. She was nicer at the end. But yeah, she was. I know.
She's also Ruby, and Ruby was in Max and Ruby was always kind of a bit of a
Okay, to be fair, Ruby was 7, and when I was Ruby, I was the OG Ruby. No parents. Max was 3. Same. Just to be fair.
I don't think I've ever voiced a villain, but I played a white supremacist in a Sarah Pauly movie called White Lies, where they had, it was really crazy, because I was doing Police Academy in series at the time. I had my head shaved, and it was during hiatus. I flew back to Toronto, and they gave me this role for 3 weeks, and then whatever. But they put like kind of permanent tattoos on me. I had like huge white power tattoos and swastikas on my back and stuff. Teardrops, gold tooth, head shaved. And it was okay when you're on set, but when you're, you know, and I had teachers, like the teacher would cover it, thankfully, but it was really creepy because I had the other guy that was on the cast with me, Jonathan Scarf. I think the story goes he went to like Hawaii in between whatever, and he forgot. And he had a huge white power tattoo on his back. And I guess some guy was not too happy with it in the change room. He's like, what the F is that? Kind of thing. He's like, oh shoot, it's like, it's a role. It's like, I was not having it. So it's like, it was pretty crazy. It was a weird role to do, and like to play, and those are real villains, so not mine.
Yeah.
But it was pretty creepy to do that. It was fun to kind of take hold of that and to do that, but it was a weird thing to step out of. And then what was funny is I literally went from the very last day on set, and they're scrubbing up my tattoos as I'm going to a plane, flew to Vancouver on the same like clock, and like basically woke up, got in the cab, and went to police academy, and I'm like, so it was like, wow, that's crazy.
So speaking to that too, like just again veering off a little bit here, that definitely different between doing live action roles and voice acting. Which do you guys prefer? Like, do you have a preference, or have you only done voice acting? Have you done live action stuff? I know, like some of you have.
I think we've all done live act, like on camera.
Yeah,
on camera stuff. On camera and I don't love each other. We don't get along at all. So I just went. I did it for a little while, and then I went. I don't want to do this. And as soon as my voice career took off, I went. I'm just going to do this from now on.
I did a lot of television and some film work till I was about 30, tons of it. And this is a true story. It was a really interesting series. I was a guest star. And I was in the horse trailer waiting for my scene to come up. I was just a guest. And I looked at, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and my call time was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 hours before. It's called Hurry Up and Wait. And I was so tired and yet so nervous, and I was sitting, there was a mirror, and I sat there looking at myself, and I said, do you really like this? And I had to answer, I hate it. Okay. And that had been my dream since I was 5, 6 years old. So I was literally telling myself, guess what? The dream sucks.
The dream was a nightmare.
The dream was a nightmare. And so it took a while, it took a month about, and my agent phoned me one day and she said, Susan, we've run out of 8x10s. Can you make another appointment? Because let's update your photo, because it's been a year already. I was working a lot. And I said, I don't want to do that. And she said, my meal ticket. No, she didn't. But I said, I don't want to, I'm just going to take a break. She said, are you okay? I said, I just don't want to audition anymore. Okay. And then the voice agent, who was a different agent, phoned a couple of weeks later and said, now Vanna's having some auditions for some of their, I think it was Strawberry Shortcake, was my first animation audition. And I said, do you want to do that? And I said, sure, animation. It doesn't matter if I have cellulite. I love it. So it was great. I went in, I got the part in Strawberry Shortcake.
Are you Strawberry Shortcake? Because I watched that show.
I was the fairy princess.
Oh, really?
And I was kind of Suzette.
Oh, funny, I didn't know this about the Strawberry Shortcake.
Oh, yeah. No, the Strawberry Shortcake, oh, she was a great little voice. Lovely, lovely voice. But that was, I said, look at this, I'm acting, I'm pretending to be somebody else. And no, it doesn't matter what I look like, it's just me and it was more like acting, if that makes any sense, even though it was a kid's show. And then after that, I never, that was my last project when I sat in that horse trailer. It's not really a horse trailer, but you know the way they look
That's
like.
funny, I call it the cubby hole.
Yeah.
And Susan was also in a show called Flappers. She was the main character in Flappers. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember it.
No,
I
probably.
know I am.
That's just great. Black and white TV, maybe not. No, I'm kidding.
I feel very comfortable. If somebody said you have to choose, Sophie's choice, decide you're going to do on camera or you're going to do voice, I would pick voice in a heartbeat because it's my comfort, and for 30 years, most of my money has come from my voice. However, I do still fight for it, and Linda reads with me. She's a fantastic actor, so we Team Awesome, I call us.
I don't need to be in front of the camera. I just go, that was bad.
But so there's something in it where I always kind of hate it too, but I don't hate it, and I just keep fighting for it. And then when you get it, the high is higher than animation. So it's like the roller coaster, it's a much faster, quicker ride, and the rush is much better. Not that it's a merry-go-round with the, look at me with all my little metaphors. Oh, fun, metaphor day. But it's just, all I'm saying is, yeah, I'll still fight for it. I don't know. But if I had to choose, I'd choose voice.
I think because I had such limited experience with animation and voiceover work, my honest go-to is on camera. Because I'm more comfortable there. That's where kind of most of my language comes from, like just being comfortable in front of the lens and doing that. The thing is, currently, the state of where it is for me personally, this business has changed so much because I started when I was 8 years old, and I worked a lot when I was a kid, and from stage to movies of the week to series and whatever, and I was very, very fortunate in those times to work alongside some real greats and to watch people who really do it. My thing, which is a whole other part of this job, is auditioning. And really the job is auditioning. The vacation is you got the job, and you get to have a fun vacation and finish out, and then once you're done that job, you're on the hunt again. You are now unemployed. And the way it is now, the way people have to audition now is so far removed from what I knew it as an art form that I'm a bit, I would say disillusioned, honestly, just because having a family right now, I'm a single dad, 3 kids, and having to self-tape, like everything's self-tape now. Like I haven't been in a room for years now. It's got like, just before COVID, obviously, but I used to go into the room, into waiting rooms for a better part of my life where I would hang and meet people all day long, sit there and have camaraderie. Now I don't have a lot of friends because that's where my friends were, or acquaintances and whatever, and then all of a sudden that dried out. Your socials dried out, and then all of a sudden you're self-taping at home, and you're turning your kitchen, your living room into a studio, and you're learning your lines, you're setting cameras up, you shoot it, you edit it, and you deliver, and you don't even know if people are seeing it anymore. And because I used to work in casting, I know the numbers that are being applied to these casting sessions now, where before it would be 6 people per role for the day, right? Well, now it could be 60 or 600. You don't know. And you don't even know if things are getting seen. And I just had to take a break for a second just because I was doing so many self-tapes. And it would amount to maybe 8 or 9 hours of work a day for no money. And don't know if it's just you're throwing it out in the ethers and then that's it. And right now I just can't square my conscience right now because it's just, I can't glamour anybody in the room. It's just a bit of binary gone somewhere, and who knows? And you know what, it's fine, and I'm okay with it, but it really has changed the process for us as performers because part of our job was the community. And that community level is kind of not there right now.
Yeah, and also just going into a room, an audition room, first of all, when you go into the waiting room, you would see people that were there, like I'd maybe see Susan and Katie, and you go, I know what they're looking for. Just because of the actors that they have chosen to be in this room, I know the kind of voice that they want. Now you sit at home going,
Oh, I
I
know.
wonder what it's going to be.
Yeah,
and then
directors.
not only that, then you go in the room and you've got a director who's going, that's okay, but can you go this way? And it's like, oh, I never even thought of that. Great. And now you're going to do it that way. It's a lot harder now, I would say.
Well, and also just it's been diluted. Just simply the numbers, and I totally understand it as a business standpoint, where now casting has intake where they just go click, click, file, versus, Toby, you ready to come in? And then I would walk in the room and I'd be able to do something because I was prepared. And I'd maybe have a story prepared or something prepared, as well as. And as they're leaving, it's like you can see that little twinkle, like, I might have got that one. Right, and you leave the room, and there was a real opportunity in that kind of kismet moment where I don't believe that it happens as much these days because I would say I took a little break from auditioning. My very last audition is from some crazy commercial, and they were asking so much to do, and I started getting kind of frustrated. And they're like, tell us your specialist skills and this, and I'm like, it's just for like a non-speaking role, like I'm gonna put like something on a shelf. So I said, hi there, my name's Toby Proctor. My special skill is that I am incredibly handsome, and these are the reasons why. And I did a laundry list of just like completely non-sequitur stuff, because I just wanted to see if my agent saw it, or if anybody saw it, and nobody said a thing.
Oh!
And I was like, man, see,
You're
I do
taking
it.
your clothes off, see?
No, I know, exactly. But it was just kind of my like, I just need to throw a noodle at the wall right now because I'm kind of fed up. You're doing all this work and I actually don't even know if it's being seen.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just need to take a break right now because I have other things, I have bigger forces at play right now, but I miss and I love this business so much because it brought me to these wonderful people.
And on that note, guys, we have run out of time for this panel. But this is why we have a second panel tomorrow to continue the conversation as well.
But yeah.
But I have a little something for each of you as well, just a little gift from me. All of you are part of the legacy of Canadian television in one way or another. And there's a book that just came out recently called Imagination, the Golden Age of Toronto Kids TV. It's a large part of it is centered on TV Ontario and stuff like that. Living in BC, when I talk about this one kid show I used to watch, Today's Special, do you guys know?
Jeff Isler.
I loved that show.
Yeah.
Everybody else in BC is like, what are you talking about? Never heard of this before. Dear Aunt Agnes. Love that. That's an Alberta one.
I remember that one too.
Yeah, but like all that kind of stuff is in here. They don't say what in here, unfortunately. But it's still such a neat collection from 1950 to like present. So I wanted to give each of one of you that. And there's a little character card in each one for you guys as well too. So
I love that you assume that we can read. This is amazing.
This is the real character card. This is really cool.
Oh, look. That's me.
No worries.
These are
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
so nice. Wow, I love this.
It's a really good read.
Are you going to eat this up? My husband will just go through going, yep, saw that.
Nostalgia for me is such a big thing, and you know it's so important to have these conversations and to help. Like we had conversations where some of you didn't even know certain things, like from the series, or didn't remember certain things. Right? It helps keep the things alive and stuff. So
This
Oh my
is
God, I'm going to be going through
amazing.
this all weekend.
You know, it's just Canada.
Yeah.
Toronto. I mean,
That's awesome.
we don't celebrate ourselves anywhere near as often as we
Well,
should.
there's a chance.
No, this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, there's
Before-
look, the friendly giant.
Aw.
That was my
Shayla, I remember Shayla.
Jalen, the friendly.
And I'll call Rusty.
Yeah.
Rusty?
Oh, I
Way up.
Well, people don't realize Mr. Rogers started in Canada too before he moved down to the States. He helped Eric Combs get his run as Mr. Dressed-Up. So I know a lot of these.
I think we should be interviewing you tomorrow.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we'll flip the tables.
Okay, that works.
See if we can stump you.
I think it's probably easier than you think, but. Okay, guys, they are going to be upstairs at their own booths near the autograph area. From 1 until about 1:45, there's an opportunity to get a photo with the four of them together. It's a special photo op that we're doing today and tomorrow. But they will be at their autograph booths as well if you guys want to go up there, have conversations with them. We didn't really have a chance to do an audience Q&A today, so we'll probably open it up tomorrow a little bit for that
If
as
you're
well.
gonna be
Too.
here, think of good questions.
Yes,
Yeah, juicy questions.
yes.
Thank you so much for coming, everybody.
Yes,
Thank
You
you.
do enjoy this con. This is an awesome con.
Let's give them a round of applause, guys. All right. And if you guys don't mind exiting out the back doors over there, that would be wonderful. We just got some other stuff coming up. So thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that's amazing.